Joining me is Michael Shoebridge, a former senior defence official and now founder and director of Strategic Analysis Australia. Michael, great to see you again. Where is this war likely to go?
Well, Andrew, the escalation hasn't finished. The line of control has got artillery exchanges happening. That's not the most dangerous thing. The most dangerous thing is what happens next after these Indian airstrikes. If Pakistan has actually shot down Indian aircraft, the Indians will want to escalate and respond to that. If the Indians have shot down Pakistani aircraft, well, the Pakistanis won't want to leave it there. At the moment, it's not really a military-on-military conflict, but that could happen as a result of what we saw today.
Is India actually right that Pakistan is hiding Islamist terrorists who kill Indians? This was the charge in the last couple of wars as well.
Well, there's a history of that being true, where Pakistan has had terrorists operating out of its territory. But in this case, the Indians have said they've got evidence, but they haven't actually provided it. So really, if the Indians want to bring international opinion with them, they need to be open about what evidence they've got.
Well, let's not forget that Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden was found hiding not far from military headquarters in Pakistan. Look, just speaking Australia first, is this war at all a danger for us?
In military terms, no. The conflict is almost certain to be contained to India and Pakistan. But we've seen the Israel-Gaza conflict play out in a very ugly way in the Australian community. And there are about 800,000 Australian Indians and about 200,000 Australian Pakistanis. We need to manage the community difference over this conflict far better than we've managed the Israel-Hamas-Gaza one.
Yes, so let's not forget that, yes, community harmony is another huge failure of this government. And speaking of failures, I take your point and I agree with you completely. This is highly unlikely to militarily involve us. But with so many wars breaking out and threatening to break out in our region as well, and the consequences can be so unpredictable. We could be cut off, our sea lanes cut off very easily. How pathetic was this past election we've just had when it had so little debate on defence, although at least the coalition did offer $21 billion more?
Well, Andrew, you are spot on. The election campaign we all just endured was a depressing race to the bottom in policy terms from both Labor and the coalition. That's why the informal vote was so high this time. These were unpalatable candidates and parties. But you're right, the coalition's defence policy was a lonely moment where some of the more ugly realities in our world intruded into a campaign characterised by sugar hits and lollybags for Australian voters. So we're not doing enough to secure Australia. It's going to take more money, but that's not a priority for the government.
And in fact, we just voted against the one party that promised more, 21 billion more. I said at the time it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, but that was as much as we were offered, and we voted against even that. Michael Shoebridge, thank you so much for your time.